Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, June 28th, and this is our morning drive live. Hopefully, the audio issues with Facebook are fixed and the streaming issues are fixed. But if they are not, and this sounds like I'm underwater, once the video has uploaded to Facebook, it will be correct. And of course, the replay on YouTube will always be accurate and ungarbled because it's just a Facebook issue. So, anyway, with that said, when we're talking about Facebook issues, it makes natural sense for our topic of the day to be toxic employees. And the reason this is the topic of the day is because over the weekend, in 4 different groups, there were posts about how to deal with toxic employees. And I thought it was something that really should be addressed because it is something that affects a lot of dental offices for some reason. I don't understand why, but it seems to be an ongoing theme. And I just want to start by saying everybody's definition of what a toxic employee or a toxic coworker are is going to be a little bit different. But to me, it can mean a number of different things, but anybody who makes it unenjoyable. But now remember, that is subjective. But, we're at work. We're not supposed to be playing and having a great time. But at the same time, you should never dread coming to work. My philosophy with my team members is if you wake up in the morning and go, "Ugh, I have to go to work today. I don't want to go," and that's the first thing you think, you need to find a new job. That's number one. So, in my experience, the people who do that every single day, waking up, dreading walking into the office, dreading walking into work, are the people who are going to be toxic because they're walking in the door with a negative, I don't want to be here attitude. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy my career. I enjoy my life. And while there are absolutely difficult times and tough days, and, we have to deal with a lot of issues every day, and we deal with insurance companies every day, and it can absolutely be exhausting. However, I think you have to wake up every day trying to figure out what problems you can solve, how you can fix something. Just like, when you guys are dealing with insurance and, you have that one claim and it's a $200 or $300 or $400 little, ultimately insignificant claim, but you spend so much time fighting it and it finally gets paid. That is a huge, huge win. And, we need to celebrate those little wins. But when you have team members who don't ever celebrate the little wins, when you have team members who are miserable, who are putting everybody down. One of the posts in the group this weekend was about an employee who said, "I'm not going to work here unless you fire this employee." That's not okay. I'm not okay with that. And, nobody other than the owner should be dictating who has a job and who doesn't. And the fact that one employee said, if you don't fire this person, I'm not going to work here. That person that gave the ultimatum would be the first one to go. And, ultimately, I think in that situation, that is what happened. I think that toxic coworker self-dismissed. However, what I will tell you is in a lot of offices, they don't self-dismiss because they enjoy making other people miserable. When you feel like you are a 2 on, we'll say happiness level, and the people around you are a 5, for some reason, it's much easier to bring the people around you down to a 2 so you don't feel so bad about yourself than it is to pick yourself up to a 5. And I've never understood that. Everybody says there's that old saying, you are the 5 people you spend the most time with. And for a lot of us, those people are the people that we work with. And you become them. And if they are toxic, you run the risk of becoming toxic. If they're miserable, you run the risk of becoming miserable yourself. So, my philosophy, the way I deal with it, and, took me a long time to learn this. I dealt with a lot of very toxic, very negative, very down-putting, off-putting people throughout my career. Now I am in a position and in a situation where if I have somebody like that, the second I see it, they are gone. I don't put up with it for a minute because it truly is like a cancer and it spreads so quickly that it's not something that we should ever, ever have to be dealing with. It's not something that you want your coworkers dealing with. It's not something you want your team dealing with if you're the owner. I have so many examples, but I mean, the most recent one, I let go about 7 months ago, and it was the best decision we've ever made. We live in fear that, oh, if we get rid of this person, what's going to happen? This is the person who does this. This is the person who deals with insurance. This is the person who's my best assistant. She technically knows everything there is to know about being an assistant. But believe me, in the long run, it's so much easier to let them go than it is to ruin the rest of your team. It's easier to replace one good person than it is to replace 15 good people. And that's what I spent a lot of time doing. Don't do it. Don't put up with toxic employees. Don't just cut them. It took me a long time to realize that. Get rid of them on the spot. So that is it. I am here. Everybody have a great Monday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 29th, and this is our morning drive live. So I want to talk today about, trying to get the right angle on my cup holder, about discounting one more time because we've had some questions in the group yesterday. I saw one or two of them got removed after they got answered, which, on a side note, don't remove questions once they get answered from the group. Leave them there so they're searchable to help other people who are new members of the group, and are able to read through and get the answers to the questions that they have. But anyway, we're going to talk about discounting again and, hopefully bring a little bit of clarity to the topic. So let me start by saying you are allowed to give anyone you would like a discount, but there are some requirements, there are some things that we have to be aware of, that we have to do in order to do so legally and ethically. So, and there is a difference between the two. So, please understand that as well. Um, let's start by stating the obvious. Number one, you are not allowed to treat insured patients and cash patients differently. So, uninsured and insured patients have to be treated the same. Now, whether those patients are employees, whether those patients are family and friends, they all have to be treated the same. Now, let's break those two down real quick before we get into just regular patients. If you have an office policy or an office plan for employees, and that office plan, that benefit for dental, says that for all employees, cleanings, exams, x-rays, fillings, etc., are free, whether the patient has insurance or not, they are free. So if you have two assistants and one of them has no dental insurance and one of them has dental insurance through her husband or, some other way, has dental insurance, and you do the cleaning, the prophy exam and bite wings on your uninsured assistant for free, if you submit anything more than a $0 fee for your insured assistant's prophy exam and bite wings, you are guilty of overbilling, because you are charging two people in the same class differently based on insurance coverage. If you have an in-office dental benefit, that in-office benefit is always the primary. So if prophy exam bite wings are free for uninsured employees, they are free for insured employees as well. When you can bill an employee's insurance would be something like if you have a policy that says the employee pays a lab fee for the crown. If your lab fee is $200 for a crown, number one, find a new lab because that's way too expensive. Number two, that $200 would be the fee that you submit on the claim form to the employee's insurance. They have 50% coverage, insurance will pay $100, and the patient/employee will pay $100. Your uninsured employee will pay the $200 themselves in full. So that's the difference. That's how that works. Family and friends, it's the same way. If you're doing, if you would not charge your brother if he had no insurance, if you wouldn't charge him if he didn't have insurance, you can't charge him if he does have insurance. They have to be treated equally. You cannot treat an insured patient and an uninsured patient, no matter what, differently. If one is free, the other is free. If you do a $99 new patient special that includes an FMX, a comp exam, and a prophy for all new patients, $99 special on your postcard, mailer, billboard, whatever. It's for uninsured and insured patients. So if an insured patient comes in with that coupon, then you would just charge out, however you want to break it out, $33 for the exam, $33 for the prophy, $33 for the FMX, And that is the amount that you submit on the claim form for patients coming in under that special. You're treating the patients the same. Now, when we talk about this, we talk about the amount you intend to collect. And people will say, well, but it's not fair because I have a write-off for an Aetna patient. So really that Aetna patient is only paying $40 for a pro fee because that's the allowance, but my cash patient has to pay $112. How is that fair? How is that not giving the insurance company a discount? And the reason that is because your contractual write-off, your write-off between your full fee and your allowed fee when you are in network with an insurance company is not considered a discount. It is considered a contractual adjustment. And when you are submitting your claims are supposed to represent the amount you intend to collect, which is always, or should always be, unless we're giving an actual discount, our UCR, our regular full office fee. With an uninsured patient, that UCR, the amount you intend to collect, is the patient's portion. That's the amount you intend to collect. With an out-of-network insurance patient, the amount you intend to collect is the patient portion plus the insurance portion. With an in-network patient, the amount you intend to collect is the patient portion plus the insurance portion plus your contractual write-off. So those three things added together should equal your UCR. That's the way it works. That's the way it goes. So it's not a discount, it's a contractual write-off. So hopefully that clears things up. That makes sense to everybody. I am here. Please, please, please don't hesitate to ask questions if you have them. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, June 30th, and this is our morning drive live. I want to talk today about something I've gotten, a few hundred messages about, and that is the new OSHA ETS, which is Emergency Temporary Standard. The ETS went into effect on the 24th of June, so just about a week ago, and basically is the quick version of the new rules that OSHA is planning to enforce or has begun enforcing for healthcare settings in regards to COVID-19. So, the ETS, they are very specific about where the ETS applies. And remember, these are just the temporary standards. Yes, the vast majority of the ETS is going to become the law, is going to become the rule. However, right now, it's an emergency temporary standard, but it is enforceable. People, employees can make complaints if you are not following the ETS if it applies to your office. Now, for some reason, there is already information out there where people are saying it doesn't apply to dental offices. It doesn't apply to dental offices. And that is absolutely incorrect there is a very specific flow chart, which I'm going to post in the comments section of the video today, that you have to follow. Will it apply to the vast majority of offices? No, it will not. But does it apply to dentists in general? If you are not exempted by the flow chart, by the requirements of the ETS, yes, it applies to you. So there is no, well, I only have 4 employees, it's less than 10, it doesn't apply. That doesn't apply in this case. There is no minimum employee requirement. If you have 1 employee and you don't fit the grouping of the flow chart, guess what? It applies to you. So there is no, we're dentists, so we're automatically exempted clause. It's just not there. I don't know how these rumors get started, but I'm assuming it's by some dentist doing some wishful thinking, hoping that it doesn't apply. So, like I said, in order for the ETS to apply to your office, you have to meet certain criteria. So, we start at the top of the flowchart. And again, I'm going to post a link to the flowchart in the comments section of the video once the video has finished processing after the live and it's up in the group. But question number 1 is, does the workplace meet all of the following conditions? You have to meet every single condition to be exempted. So condition number 1, is it a non-hospital ambulatory care setting? A dental office under the definition of non-hospital ambulatory care fits the definition. You are providing healthcare services. You are a non-hospital ambulatory care center. So you absolutely are. So yes, we can answer yes to that question. The second question is, are all non-employees screened prior to entry? If you have stopped your screening process, the questionnaire, the temp checks, if you've stopped doing that, then your answer is no, which means we move further down the flowchart. But let's say you are continuing to screen all non-employees. And see, it doesn't say patients. It says non-employees. If the FedEx man walks into your office unscreened for a minute and a half to drop off a package, and you don't screen him prior to him walking in the door, you have to answer no to this. If a plumber, if an HVAC technician, if a sales rep walks into your office without being screened, you have to answer no to this question. If it happens once, the ETS applies. So, that's something very important for everybody to keep in mind. The ETS, now we'll go to the third question real quick. The third question is, people with suspected or confirmed COVID-19 are not permitted entry. Absolutely, I think we're all doing that. I think we're all turning away people who we either suspect have COVID, are displaying signs of having COVID, any symptoms. We're turning them away. They're not allowed to enter based on their screening. So if you meet all 3, you are a non-hospital ambulatory care center. You absolutely are. According to the definition by OSHA of ambulatory setting, dental offices qualify. So boom, we know that right away. Number 2, screening. If you are screening every single non-employee who walks in the door, patients, salespeople, repair guys, every single person who walks in the office gets screened. If you are doing that, and you are turning away people who either you suspect of having COVID, are displaying symptoms of COVID, or you have confirmed have COVID, then the ETS does not apply to your workplace. So my suggestion to everyone is continue doing the screening. Now, let's say you don't. You're not doing the screening. Your patients are sick of it. They're complaining. They have a huge problem. Now we have to work our way down the flow chart. So, the next portion is it a hospital setting? No, it's not. Okay, now further down. Is it a home healthcare setting? No, it is not. We work our way down. Last question. Are there well-defined areas of the workplace where there is no reasonable expectation that any person with suspected or confirmed COVID will be present? If you can answer yes to that, which you can, break rooms, private offices, etc., then there are certain parts of the ETS that do not apply and certain parts that do. However, these vary based on vaccination status by employee. So if you are not screening every single person, if you are not screening and turning away people, then, I have a passenger getting in. If you are not screening every person walking in the door, then your ETS is going to partially apply, and a big part of that is the vaccination status of your employees. So double check that. That is who it applies to. Like I said, there is a 95% chance it doesn't apply as long as you are continuing to do the non-patient screening before they walk in the door. So make sure you continue to do your screening, your questionnaires, your temp checks. Continue doing those. You're good to go. The ETS won't apply to you, and it won't be something you have to worry about. I am going to be doing a 1-hour webinar on this either tomorrow evening or early next week. Just have to figure out what I can get it all together. It is 529 pages long and takes a little while to process all the info. But that is it. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, July 1st, and this is our morning drive live. I want to talk today about a question that comes up pretty regularly in the group, which is charging a patient for non-covered versus non-payable services and what the rules are. And I want to start by saying, when it comes to non-covered services, the laws are different for each state. Most of the states follow what's called the never ever rule. The never ever rule says if it's never ever covered, if it's a procedure that is never ever covered, no matter what. So, for example, if a patient has a preventative only plan and crowns are never ever covered, then the patient would pay your full office fee. If the patient has crown coverage, but let's say a crown is not payable due to a frequency limitation or a waiting period or because the patient has met their annual maximum, then the patient would pay the fee schedule fee or the allowed fee from the insurance company. So that's the never ever rule. And that is the rule that the vast majority of states follow. Now, to make it easy for everyone, there is a spreadsheet in the group files section that breaks down what the rule is for each state. Some states have no rule regarding non-covered services, which means the insurance companies get to set the rules. So if you're in network and it's a non-covered service and you're in a state that allows or that doesn't have a rule, then you charge whatever the insurance company says. Some insurance companies will say you charge the allowed fee. Some insurance companies will say you charge your full fee. But that is in the states that do not have a non-covered services rule. Now, there are some other states, and very few of them, that the rule is if it's not paid by the insurance company, then they get no say on what you charge. So in those states, if something is not payable because of a frequency limitation or an annual maximum, then you charge your full office UCR, because unless the insurance company is paying something towards the procedure, they have absolutely no say in what the fee is. So, those are basically the three different types of states that there are when it comes to that. So we have if you're not paying, you can't tell me. There's very few of those, but they do exist. Then we have the never ever rule, which is what the vast majority of states follow. And then third, we have the states with no rule in place. There are few of those. They are, some of them, like Ohio, has a pending law right now. It's not in effect yet, so as of today, Ohio has no rule. But it is coming. Now, we also have a new law, a new set of rules coming up that is already active in 2 states and is going to be, I'm sure, expanding. I hope not, but I'm sure it's going to be growing as time goes on. And that is, in Michigan, it's called SB 350. SB 350 states, if you are out of network with an insurance company that is a not-for-profit insurance company. So I want to make that very clear. MetLife is a for-profit insurance company. Cigna is a for-profit insurance company. The Pipe Fitters Local 350 is a not-for-profit. Delta Dental is a not-for-profit. All of the Blue Cross Blue Shields, the vast majority of them, are not-for-profit. If you are in one of the states with an SB 350 law, that law says even if you are out of network, if you accept assignment of benefits, you agree to accept the allowed fee for the procedure without balance billing the patient. You cannot balance bill the patient at all, even though you're out of network, if you accept assignment of benefits. So you have to uncheck that little box on the claim form. You have the patient pay you in full at the time of service. You submit the claim with assignment of benefits going to the patient. You do not want assignment of benefits. Then you can collect your full fee. If you are in a law with in a state with an SB 350 law like Michigan, and you accept assignment of benefits from a not-for-profit insurance company, even if you're out of network, you still have to accept the allowed fee. You cannot balance bill for anything over what the insurance company's allowed fee is. So that's just something for everybody to keep in mind, something for people to watch. Make sure you're watching your state legislatures. Make sure you know what laws they are looking at, what laws they are trying to get passed, what laws they are voting on. Because we don't always find out about these things until it's too late. And I know that's what happened in Michigan. They found out way too late and the damage was already done. So, pay attention to what your state legislatures are doing. Watch those laws because they are increasing and popping up. So that is it. I am here. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Friday. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, July 2nd. And this is our morning drive live. I want to talk today about exams and x-rays because there seems to be a lot of confusion regarding what x-rays go with what exams and what you have to take in order to bill for certain exams. And I saw this posted yesterday in both our group and another group, and I just want to clear it up. So the post yesterday was about billing out for a comprehensive exam, a DO 150, and the discussion turned to, well, we always bill a DO 150 on the days we take an FMX, or we always bill a DO 150 when we take a Pano, or, we took 4 bite wings on a patient and now we have to bill a DO 120 because we took the 4 bite wings. So now we have to bill out a DO 120, a recall exam, a periodic oral evaluation because we took the 4 bite wings. And I just want to make sure everybody knows and understands that the x-ray codes, the x-rays you take, are totally and completely separate from the exam codes. You do not have to bill out a DO 150 just because you took an FMX or you took a Pano. You do not have to bill out a DO 120 just because you took bite wings. If it's appropriate to take them, then, and the doctor has ordered them, then they get taken. The actual reading of the x-rays, the interpretation of the x-rays by the doctor is included, it's part of the x-ray code itself. So when you take an FMX and you bill out that D0210 code, the reading of the interpretation of the x-rays is included in the FMX code. So you don't have to bill a certain exam because you took them. Same thing with the bite wings. A lot of people have been messaging me lately because, listen, we're coming up to vacation times. Doctors are going to be out of the offices. Hygiene, front desk, assistants are all going to be working maybe while the doctor is away. Again, totally depends on your state and what your state rules allow. Some states allow that, some do not. Um, but as far as x-rays go, one thing I want to make very clear as we come up on vacation time and doctors not being in the office and the office still operating, one thing I want to make very clear. Number one, if the doctor is not in the office, if the doctor doesn't see the patient, there is no exam that you can bill. Number two, X-rays are by order of the doctor only. Only the doctor can order X-rays. So if your doctor is on vacation and hygiene is seeing patients, they are fine to take prescribed X-rays. So anything that the doctor in advance, in writing, has said, I want you to take 4 bite wings on these patients. I want you to take 4 bite wings and 2 PAs on these patients. I want you to take an FMX on these patients. You are absolutely fine to. What you cannot do is have a patient come in and the doctor, let's say, didn't order any X-rays, and the patient says, yeah, I've been having a hard time, I've been having some pain over here, and you say, oh, let's shoot a couple PAs and we'll take a look, we'll see what's going on. You can't do that. You cannot take those PAs. You can only take the X-rays that were ordered by the doctor in advance in writing. You cannot take additional X-rays. You cannot take emergency X-rays because they are not being prescribed. They are not being ordered by the doctor. So hope that clears that part of it up. Now, the other thing that we need to talk about when it comes to X-rays, exams, doctors being in the office, doctors not being in the office, the other thing we need to talk about, and hopefully everybody knows this, starting this year, the ADA has added some new CDT codes to the CDT code book. They are all D07 codes, and they are what's called the image capture only X-ray codes. So what that means is if your doctor is on vacation, if your doctor is out sick, and the doctor in advance prescribed 4 bite wings for that patient, if they are not reading the images that day, then the D07 codes for image capture only are the ones that you would bill out. You would not bill out a D0274 for the 4 bite wings if the doctor is not interpreting and documenting the interpretation of the X-rays that day. If the doctor is out of the office and you're just taking the bite wings, that's it. The doctor is not reading them. There's no interpretation. There's no documentation of the doctor's interpretation of the X-rays. You're going to bill out the corresponding D07 code for image capture only, which means, again, you're just capturing the image. You're not reading the X-ray. You're not interpreting the X-ray. You're just capturing the image. Now, what we have seen so far this year is insurance companies are paying between 40 and 65% of what they would allow for a D0274 or for a D0210. They are allowing 40 to 65% of the regular fee for the full code, the D02 code, for the image capture only. The problem you're going to run into, and just something everybody needs to be aware of, is when you bill out the image capture only code, there is no code to then bill out later when you're actually interpreting, when the doctor is reading the X-ray. So that, 35 to 60% write-off that you're losing, there is no way to recoup that. So I just want everybody to be aware of that and the new X-ray codes. Hopefully that makes sense. I am here. Everybody have a great day. Have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you guys next week.